everyone, and welcome to Dragon's Demise at Origins. As you can see behind me, we are in Exhibition Hall A of Origins here in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm sitting down with Josh Hipsher. Josh is one half of HipLein Industries. He, together with his partner Kyle, made this game that you see before you, Gamma Grunts. And we're going to be sitting down with him today playing our Jenga Interview. So Josh, the way that this is going to work, you've got three different colors of blocks. Blue blocks are going to be questions about the game. Red blocks are going to be questions sort of about your time in the industry, how you got started. And then green blocks are wild. I can ask you about your favorite animal. I can ask you about your favorite donut. Just craziness.
Awesome.
Sound good?
That sounds wonderful.
All right, let's get started.
All right. I'm going to start with a green one, or at least try.
A green one, okay.
Because I like whatever I want to be thrown for a loop.
Okay, randomness. Let's do it. So, if you were stuck on a desert island, Robinson Crusoe style, and you had one board game, what would it be?
One board game. It'd be very self-serving to say Gamma Grunts, but I won't.
Okay.
Because
I don't think anyone would fault you if you did.
I mean, I would probably fault me a little bit. It's a great game, but I think I would have to say Azul right now.
Okay,
Mostly because I can imagine there'd be some dehydration there, and having too complex of a game might make me feel sad about my life on this desert island where I'm trapped. So Azul.
You want something that you're not going to forget in your sort of hallucination phase.
Yeah, especially if I get old age and dementia on an island. I'm really painting a really, really horrible picture, but
that makes sense.
But it would still, Azul.
Okay, Azul. All right, I am going to go ahead and do a blue because I want to ask you about this game that you've designed. So, Gamma Grunts is, you describe it as a deck smash game in which you are mad scientists trying to take over the world. So how did you come up with the mad scientist theme?
To be honest, it came because I was drinking a beer by this Dayton brewer.
This is a great start.
It really is. I was drinking beer, and it's called Gamma Bomb. And we had we were fighting it out between a few different themes, whether we were going to go, trying to be a space theme, or we were really, really just going back and forth. And ultimately, Gamma Bomb became Gamma Juice, which is the resource in the game, and Gamma Bomb being one of my favorite beers from Dayton, Ohio.
Need a little local tie-in.
Yeah, a little bit of local tie-in, it was just a random occurrence. I was just drinking, and I think I was cutting up cards because when you're doing prototypes, you cut a lot of cards. So
that's what I hear.
That's
okay,
how
so
it
just kind of it came out of the beer.
Yeah,
you get the creative juices flowing, the gamma juices flowing.
Yep, get those gamma.
You're up.
All right, I'm gonna try this red one down here.
All right.
Ooh, I don't know.
It's a bold move. You can try it. Maybe this one on the other side.
I'm gonna go with the
there we go.
easy
Safety
red.
in the middle.
Safety in the middle. All right, so I'm gonna pick the red one.
Okay. So you and, like I said, your partner Kyle designed this game together. How long have you been working together on game design?
So we've been working together for a little over a year. We were involved in the same competitive gaming industry. We worked at a lot of similar booths with Japanime Games and Cool Mini or Not for a few years, and I was working on a game by myself pretty much prior to that. And it was actually May 21st that I asked him. I know because it's my sister's birthday, I don't just have a really weird good memory.
I mean, you could say that you did. I'm sure he would appreciate it. He'd feel appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, my wife does feel like she has a little bit of competition with him, but it's purely for the sake of creativity. But yeah, May 21st is when we started doing that. Started working on Gamma Grunts.
Okay, May 21st, and this is your first game?
This is our first...
first game that you're designing as HipLein Industries.
Yeah, first game as HipLein Industries. We both worked on our stuff independently, never published anything, so it's our first time together, and also first time going the publishing route, which is a little exciting and terrifying at the same time.
I believe it. All right, I'm going to get in. Let's see, can I take from anywhere that already... No, that's a terrible idea. All right.
I know, I started doing... Ooh.
All right, here we go. We got a side one. First side one. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this right up here. We're going to go back to the game. So, in Gamma Grunts, It's a deck building battle game. So you've got grunts that you're going to play out into your lab and use them to, do battle with the other mad scientists. You're trying to come out on top, but you've got this really interesting mechanic where you smash cards from your opponent's either hands, decks, and force them to get rid of those things from their hands. And so I know a lot of people, when they think of a deck building game, they think of minimal player interaction.
Yeah.
Is that something you knew, sort of you wanted to disrupt deliberately? Like you wanted more of that player interaction? How did you come up with this deck smash idea?
Well, that's really the key there, is we love deck builders, but it felt almost like, and no, don't get me wrong, I love deck builders. Like, put some Dominion in front of me and I'm going to play for hours.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of deck builders out there don't have that interaction.
Yeah.
Like, you're building yourself up, and that's really all you're trying to do. You're trying to get the best thing for yourself, and you might try to screw your neighbor or screw your opponent by drafting something that is going towards their kind of what they're shooting for, but really the player interaction is very minimal. So that's kind of how this whole thing started. And it also honestly started because both of us have a history playing games like Magic, and really at the end of the day, Magic is it's too much to keep up with. Magic is absolutely a lot, just in terms of the cost, but also the constantly shifting meta. Yeah. The combination of both things, both us liking deck builders and wanting to have something to where people can interact more aggressively with one another, but also wanting to have that kind of feel of like those collectible card games really kind of drove us into making what we made.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
Thanks.
I believe it's your brick.
All right.
Where are you going?
I wonder if I should try to go off the same thing that you took from. Like,
be bold, man.
I could try to.
Okay, so we got a blue. We're going back to the game. You can see here a little bit on the camera. We have some of the cards laid out. So the cards have different styles. You've got grunts that you're going to play out that are going to attack, defend. You've got disruptions, I believe they're called. Mm-hmm. These orange cards that are going to have different effects, sort of similar, to use the Magic the Gathering comparison, instants and sorceries, stuff like that. But one of the universal things about all of these cards is the fantastic art. And I know you've partnered with an artist to create, sort of consistent artwork for that. And what's that been like? Have they been good to work with?
Yeah, so we partnered with James Koenig of Freelance Fridge, which is a company out of Arizona.
Right.
And basically he's been nothing but wonderful. He primarily worked with children's books, and he's just been really, really adaptable when it comes down to we basically sent a spreadsheet describing we would like this grunt to look like with grayish green skin, with one horn on the side of his head, with tattered shorts, with frayed barefoot in a lab. And then he created what we call grunts, or these brutes. And then that he made this design that he it's like he was viewing
straight into your brain?
Straight into my brain. It was crazy. So he's been wonderful. He also designed some newer boards with a little bit more crisper art too, and did a fresh design that. And honestly, he's been really affordable and also really, really reasonable. So we're gonna try to keep him on board for future games too. So.
Yeah. All right. So it's me now. Let's go with another. Oh, that's a little dangerous there.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Gonna work this out. Okay, all right, I got it.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So you mentioned that this is the first time that you've sort of gotten into publishing your own games, and what sort of avenues are you pursuing? What's been your experience with publishing so far, just in terms of, unexpected, occurrences, stuff that you weren't expecting to get into, lessons learned maybe for your next game that you develop? What's that been like?
To be honest, we haven't hit a whole lot of bumps yet. Mind you, which is good. I mean, I know, right?
Yeah,
knock on all the wood. I don't want to knock on this one yet. But, but yeah, it's been a really, really, it's just, and it's been not effortless because we've been working so hard. But to be honest, we've been given tools by some really amazing people in the industry who have amazing blogs.
Yeah.
There's also a book, Jamie Stegmaier, who is the creator of Viticulture and with Stonemaier Games. He puts out such amazing content to help.
Yeah.
There's actually a book on crowdfunding that I really wish I could remember the name because I'm on camera right now. But there's a book on crowdfunding. Just look for Jamie Stegmaier crowdfunding book.
There you go. Look it up. Do it now.
And it's absolutely incredible. If you're thinking about going that route, he gives you so many amazing lessons. He made mistakes, so you don't have to. Same thing with James Matthey of Minion Games. He has a blog and runs a lot of different Facebook design groups online, so that way you can get advice, you can talk about what you're creating, and you can make it so you don't make the same mistakes. We're still going to make mistakes, but we're just trying to kind of mitigate that as much as possible by reading and reading and reading and listening to podcasts all the time. So,
yeah, and I think that's one of the fantastic things sort of about the industry is that it is quite supportive. You know, and you're gonna be able to build on those lessons, and people are gonna want to see you succeed, which is it's super exciting.
Yeah, there's actually another guy named Brent who runs what's the name of the company? He created a game called Gruff, which is really, really amazing. I know everything's amazing, and I'm really stoked all the time, and it's all really rad.
That's a good way to be. It's better than the alternative.
It is. I'd much rather not be bummed out. So yeah. So you are a goat herder in this game called Gruff, and you're creating mutated goats to battle each other, and it's so much fun.
Mutated goats.
Yeah.
To battle each other.
As a goat herder. So you're battling goat herders with your mutated goats that have different abilities, different strengths and everything.
This game sounds amazing, and I need to find it.
Yeah, I think he's here. I think he is. So yeah, we should play it all.
Okay, heck yeah.
He, after Origins last year, I hit him up because I ran into him at Origins and I bought one of the copies of his Battle Goats game, and we spent probably a couple hours Skyping one another, and like he didn't need to do that. That's a lot of time. Time is valuable, but he just really, really, like, you talk to people at a convention, you get to meet them, and they just really, they give a crap about each other, so that they want to make sure that they do that. Oh, and his wife does all the art, yeah, and it's absolutely incredible, and they're a great team. And well, most of his design work is in electronic games, and so like the two of them together making this amazing product. And by the way, like I'm also really, really excited about how thick his cards are and how like they ruffle amazing and they don't get damaged, and it's got this like
production value.
Yeah, the production value of it is through the roof. And he also designed his own 3D printed his own like markers that he uses on the cards to track the scores. So you
that's exciting.
Yeah, you can increase the strength of them, the mean as they call it.
Wow. That sounds really impressive.
Yeah, I'm really stoked. Not to shout out to him too much, but like that's how the game industry is. They're just
absolutely.
They wanna support everyone.
No, for sure. I think it's you.
Oh, it is.
You want to get in there?
Oh,
we might have to start taking from this top half.
We might, but the easy ones are in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's all about Gamma Grunts, which is great. But I also want to get to some of those green ones, so you can ask me random questions. This one,
a couple of greens, yeah.
That one's a little.
You could probably work it out.
One's a little. I don't know. No, I can't take that one. No, not the middle one. That's.
Oh, here you go. You got a green in the middle right there.
Right there. Is that too, that's gonna move. I can't move that.
because there's not enough weight on top of it.
There's not enough weight.
Travails and tribulations.
All right,
of playing Jenga.
I don't want to lose because I am a gamer, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the blue.
Okay.
I'm also gonna straighten this out up here a little. That's probably cheating, but
blue. Back to Gamma Grunts. So we talked a little bit about the deck smash mechanic and sort of being able to disrupt your opponent's hand, their deck, stuff like that, which is interesting because this also interacts with a loss condition that you've built into the game. So it's not just a win condition where you see you're the first to get to 20 points here on the victory track, the infamy track, but also if you ever have to draw cards and you can't, you lose. So it's almost like a life total in that way. And how did this really interesting mechanic come around? Because you've got it, it forces players to think about strategic balance. You have to go through your deck in order to get stuff onto the field. But if you're too, liberal, if you're too free with that you're not going to be able to draw any cards. You're gonna knock yourself out basically. So how did that balance mechanic come into being, and then also how have you made sure that it's not too far one way or the other?
Well, to be honest, so we went really, really far initially, where there was nothing, it would just automatically come in.
Yeah.
And the games lasted really long.
Sure.
And it wasn't fun. And it created a way for, if one person gets ahead, they don't really have to worry as much about it. It was very easy to get ahead in that model.
Yeah.
We added this in order to make it so, basically so you couldn't get you couldn't pull ahead like you can in a bunch of games. You couldn't start to really destroy everyone and then get away with it. You have to be mindful of that. So it honestly just became because we needed to add that. And since there was so much with the recycle bin, basically when you draft cards or when you play disruptions, our discard pile, aka meaning that it's not removed from the game, goes to the recycle bin.
Right, and I think we actually have one of the player boards over here if you want to bring that over.
Yeah, so
you can see here, this is what each player is going to have. There's 4 different colors, and each person is going to have, this lab, and then also this recycle bin that we're talking about.
Yeah, so say for instance, if I was to send these over there, and I have an unused gamma juice in the middle here, basically if I want to get this stuff into my deck, I have to use that gamma juice to recycle it.
Okay, and then all of that shuffles back into
all
your
that
deck.
shuffles together. So that happened because we wanted to mitigate people pulling ahead, and it honestly, it just worked out to where we kind of struck lightning a little bit, where it didn't feel like it was too restrictive. Mm-hmm. Mind you, we also designed a card called the Discovery.
Yeah.
In order to, you can actually destroy this yourself when you play it, and get extra gamma juice into play for use.
Okay, so if you're willing to thin your deck, you can accelerate.
Yeah.
And try to get ahead a little bit. That's exciting.
And so we basically created this mechanic, which may feel a little restrictive at times, but it's out of necessity.
Right.
But we also created a mechanic to kind of bypass that restrictedness. You can't escape this part.
Yeah.
But it at least gives you more utilization of your gamma juice at different times. So you don't have to necessarily you don't have to worry about not being able to play anything else.
Right.
So.
Well, and I think that's really good. You mentioned the point that you didn't want it to just be passive, and I think making it into an active component that you have to think about what it is that you want to do. You have to think about, okay, I'm making a deliberate decision to recycle my cards and get those back in, and it's not a high bar to clear, but I think it's just enough that it adds a layer of depth to the game.
Yeah.
So I think very successful.
Oh, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna get into one of these greens.
You're a lot more. I'm afraid of Jenga a little bit. It's like wild cats to me. It's like I love them. They're amazing, but I'm also afraid of it falling over.
All right.
I'm proud of you, man. That was.
There we go. We got a wild card.
Yeah.
And this is a favorite of a friend of mine. Would you rather turn into a dog or a giraffe?
Should I give a why too?
Yeah, go for it. Go nuts.
Dog.
Okay, and why?
First off, if you ever need to hide, it's easier to do that as a dog than a giraffe.
That's true.
So out of pure necessity.
Giraffes are pretty conspicuous.
Yeah, we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
But you also get the companionship.
True. Yeah.
And giraffes, I feel like having a really long neck could also be really inconvenient.
Okay.
Especially if you're trying to find a nice turtleneck or necktie.
Yeah. Yep.
They
don't make cravats for giraffes.
They do not make cravats for giraffes. So
couldn't do your Freddy cosplay.
No, you can't. Freddy cosplay, that's hundreds of dollars of fabric. You just can't
untenable.
afford. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Josh Hipsher, dog person, not giraffe person.
If I had to pick between the two, yeah. Can I ask you the same?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So I am actually going to go with a giraffe.
Oh, yeah?
Because I certainly wouldn't mind being the biggest thing around. It would be a little bit different for me. And also, this is a little bit of a downer, and I'm not sure if I want to say it on camera, but there's lots of dogs that don't have it very good. If they don't have companionship, if they're just street dogs.
Adopt, don't shop.
I think that would be, yes, absolutely. I think that would be pretty rough. That would be pretty sad. But so yeah, I'm gonna go with the giraffe, and I'm gonna get those leaves at the top of that tree, and I'll just cosplay someone else.
Is it bad when you said it has to be pretty rough? Then I immediately thought that was a pun. Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about that. That just goes to show you, I'm not the pun guy. So Jacob is the one who writes all of our puns.
Okay, good.
Leslie also comes up with some of the. I don't know. I've always thought of Jacob as the master, but yes, Leslie gets in with a lot of those puns.
Well, you could have multiple masters.
You can,
right? Yeah. Multiple masters of pun.
Masters of pun. All right, we're getting far afield.
Yeah, we are.
Draw your block.
All right, I'm going to draw. I was just trying to avoid drawing the block
okay.
as long as possible.
You're scared? You scared, Hipsher?
I am scared, and my last name is Hipsher. I'm going to go with red.
Okay.
Whew.
Okay. So you said you sort of come from a background, you've worked in the industry for a while, even if this is your first game that you've designed on your own. So working your way through those experiences, have you found that it's been, I don't want to say fun, but have you found that it's been, something that you love to do? People say don't work for, what is it? Don't do what you love what you do. Something like that. Have you found that that's been your experience working with this hobby that's obviously something you're so passionate about?
I honestly say if you can find something you enjoy doing for 5 minutes, do it. It doesn't matter how much money or what, if you're doing a product, because we've done it for both free badges. When I was a child, I would come here at like 9 years old, and I would teach games for Looney Labs as a 9-year-old, just so I could get a free badge.
Okay.
Like that was like the go-to. And then go up to like when I was working with other companies, and they would pay you to work different conventions. Honestly, like the benefits are cool when it comes down to that, but really at the end of the day, just do what you love as much as possible and try to love everything you do.
Wise words.
I also do the same thing I have a full-time job working at a medical management company called Quantum Health, where I literally just try to make sure people understand how their medical plans work. Like if you work at like the Cheesecake Factory, you get insurance that we're the customer service for, and so we try to literally try to save people like hundreds and hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars just by making it so they're educated. Yeah. And really try to fight for members too.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. That's such good work, and it's good that you have that not just in your sort of in your hobbies, but also in your professional life. That's really fantastic.
Well, and if you can feel fulfilled every single day, and if you can say feel fulfilled and have it make sense too, because it's an awkward thing to say. Yeah. But if you can feel fulfilled every single day by doing something you love, I'd say that the rest of the stuff doesn't matter as much. Really, we're all on this planet for a limited time, and if you can find something to distract yourself from like the crappy stuff and try to make the world a little bit better of a place, I'd say you're in a good spot.
There you go. Heartfelt words. Very touching. This is, Inspirational Corner with Dragon's Demize over here. It's a new segment we're gonna debut, and we're gonna have you on every single time.
Oh, thanks.
All right, I gotta get in on this. I want to ask you a question about Gamma Grunts again. So where can I find a blue?
It's a nice little middle spot right there.
Oh yeah, that's easy. On it. So with Gamma Grunts, you can see sort of on the layout here, you've got cards with costs. Everything costs Gamma Juice, that resource that we mentioned before, and so you've got cards that cost 1, 2, 3, 4, each of those things, and you have total control over what you want to draft, not just in terms of randomly generating like a pool of cards as you might in something like Star Realms, where it's just random, but you actually have a 1 column, a 2 column. So how, was that something that you knew you wanted to do from the start? Is that something that you just realized partway through the design process, you were like, you know what, we need to have more consistency, more deliberation on that, or how did that evolve?
To be honest, when it started, we had 1 through 6, separating the similar thing, but we, instead of it being you draft as you go along, we had it where you started off drafting cards from the get-go.
Okay.
So it ended up becoming like a half an hour to 45-minute game of you draft something and then you finally get to play it, so it was not very fun.
Sure, it just kind of slowed things down too much at the beginning.
It did. So it was from the get-go that we wanted to do this, but having it be part of the game as you're growing along, it's always been a part of it, and it's just something that, I mean, you get the experience of building the style of play that you want, because, and I didn't talk about this before, but in addition to just being able to draft from these cards and blindly, you can also mess with the stack a little bit.
Oh, really? Okay, let's talk about that.
There's something called Draft Chaos that we included. Every single turn can play, which you're a mad scientist.
Aren't all drafts chaos?
They are a little bit chaotic, yeah. But what you can do is you can actually flip and or smash every turn. And what that means is, say for instance, I'm like, you know what? I want to see what's behind door number 2 for this 3-cost one. I can smash that card, which you don't get any infamy for because it's not owned by anyone.
Right.
And the next one is immediately revealed.
Interesting.
And then if you're like, you know what, I want to make it so no one else can get this, or the next person actually has to work a little harder to get it, or if you're like, I want to see it behind door number 3, you can also flip the next card on top of it. You can't.
Interesting. So you can actually create a stack that you have to sort of work your way through.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because then you can't draft this Soylent Green card, but without drafting the Invisible Grunt first.
Right. Interesting.
And so it ends up being a thing where we tried to make it so, yeah, you have the 1 through 4 cost and you can plan what you're doing, but we also try to make it so you can plan ahead a little bit and also mess with other people.
Exactly, and again, that's what I was thinking, that sort of extra layer of player interaction in the more traditional deck builder sense of disruption, sort of messing with what they're doing and preventing them from executing the strategy that they want. So, yeah, I think that's a really interesting mechanic.
Yeah, thanks. All right, I'm gonna go.
Okay. You got. You're gonna have to go somewhere eventually. All right, it's coming out. Yeah. Oh, come on.
All right.
All right, you can start pulling it. Okay.
All right.
So, Gamma Grunts, you describe it as a deck smash game, you know, sort of built around this mechanic, not built around, but heavily involving this mechanic of smashing your opponent's decks. And it's described that way. It's a tagline, Gamma Grunts, a deck smash game. Can we expect more deck smash games?
Yes, you definitely can.
That's a good answer. I like that.
So, not only are we going to put this out in August when we launch on Kickstarter, but in the future we're also going to do other things that are in the same realm.
Okay.
To where you get to kind of experience different aspects of this world that we're basically creating.
Yeah.
To where it's not so much post-apocalyptic as it is like you're in modern day times, but everyone is a scientist. And
right, mad science.
Yeah. And
it's gone run amok.
And they have like ridiculous amount of things that they can do with this gamma juice. And so it's the field of science is just growing and growing and growing. So we're just going to go crazy with it.
That sounds exciting. I mean, I love seeing stuff like that where you've got this sort of consistent world building that happens across multiple games. So I'll be on the lookout for whatever the next one is.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. So I know we're running a little bit short on time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to invite you to do that. There
I'm sorry, I broke it.
That's okay. It's designed to be broken. I am going to say that I grabbed this green. We'll go out on a fun note. What is your favorite donut?
Oh, I want a custard donut, custard on the inside, chocolate on top with bacon bits.
That sounds delicious and also extremely extra.
Yeah.
Like, I'm over here in like plain glazed territory, and you're... It's 12:30. Oh, that's right. I might go give blood, to be honest. Because I haven't given blood in a while.
You could totally give blood. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, we'll see if I have time. Okay, so... You okay?
25 seconds.
Oh, 25 seconds, okay. Well, there we go. So the game is officially over, obviously, as you can see from the Jenga blocks scattered around. Very nice ending. Loved it. And we had a blast. I thank you so much for being on the Jenga interview. Thank you so much for sitting down with Dragon's Demize. Josh Hipsher, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.